Good day, I am Ava Nathan Harros, and the topics that I will be discussing are human rights, punishment, and victims' compensation programs. What is human right? Human rights are those rights which are inherent in our nature and without which we cannot live as human beings. It allows us to develop and use our human qualities, intelligence, talents, and conscience, and to satisfy our spiritual and other needs. There are basic characteristics of human rights, which are inherent, which means not granted by any person or authority. Second, fundamental. Without them, the life and dignity of man will be meaningless. Third, inalienable. It cannot be rightful taken away from a free individuals and cannot be given or be forfeited. Fourth, imprescriptible. Human rights do not prescribe and cannot be lost even if a man fails to use or assert them, even by a long passage of time. Fifth, indivisible. Human rights are not capable of being divided. They cannot be denied even when other rights have already been enjoyed. Sixth, universal. They are inherent in all individuals irrespective of their caste, creed, religion, sex, and nationality. And human rights are enforceable without a national border. And lastly, interdependent. The fulfillment of one right often depends wholly or in part upon the fulfillment of others. Human rights principles, so the dignity of man and human life is inviolable. From the dignity of man is derived the right of every person to free development of his personality. A legitimate state should exist to assure that in the discharge of the government functions, the dignity that is the birthright every human being is duly safeguarded. There are classifications of rights, which are natural rights, which means God-given rights acknowledged by everybody to be morally good, unwritten, but prevails as norms of the society. Second, constitutional rights. It confirmed and protected by the Constitution and which cannot be modified or taken away by the lawmaking body. Third, statutory rights. These rights, which are provided by law promulgated by the lawmaking body, may be abolished by the body that created them. Stages of human rights. Idealization, which means notions about human rights have started in the realm of ideas that reflect a consciousness against oppression, dehumanization, or inadequate performance by the state. Second, positivation is support for the ideas became strong and the stage is set to incorporate them into some legal instruments. And lastly, realization, which means rights are enjoyed by the citizens of the state by the transformation of the social, economic, and political order. There are three obligations of state parties: obligation to respect, to ensure, and to protect. Punishment, which means is the infliction of some kind of pain or loss upon a person for a misdeed. Punishment may take forms ranging from capital punishment, flogging, forced labor, and mutilation of the body to imprisonment and fines. The purpose of punishments or deterrence, incapacitation, rehabilitation, retribution, and restitution. Specific deterrence prevent crime by frightening an individual defendant with punishment, whereas general deterrence prevents crime by frightening the public with the punishments of an individual defendant. Incapacitation. It prevents crime by removing a defendant from society. Rehabilitation. It prevents crime by altering a defendant's behavior. While retribution, it prevents crime by giving a victims or society a feeling of avengement. And lastly, restitution. It prevents crime by pushing the defendant financially. Victims Compensation Program. The Victims Compensation Program in the Philippines, administered by the Department of Justice or DOJ. It provides financial assistance to victims of unjust imprisonment, detention, or violence, with compensation based on the duration of imprisonment or detention up to a maximum of 1,000 pesos per month.